Hey everybody, this is Matt from the Brothers of Discussion. I am here to tell you about Anchor and how much I am adoring putting my podcast up on here. Trust me, it has been an absolute blast. We aren't paying the fees anymore. We are now able to give you some sponsored advertisements here, which is going to help us grow the show. We are now on more platforms than we've ever been on before. So this is just working out in spades. But yes, it is anchor.fm. You want to head over there. If you've got a story to tell it on Anchor. Anchor's making it so much easier for the Brothers of Discussion, for your good buddy Matt, and Anchor can make it that much easier for you. We can all be telling our stories. Heck, we have our new promotion going on that we want you to check out, where you're going to send messages through Anchor, and that's going to result in you possibly winning a Drew McIntyre t-shirt. So this is super confusing now. We're talking about promos in the show and Anchor.fm, but it wouldn't be possible without Anchor. So go to Anchor.fm, and when you're ready to tell your story, make sure you tell it on Anchor.
I said, give me a hell yeah!
Two, one, go.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Thugonomics rapping, y'all. Matt Hardy deleting of his career, anyway. NXT Takeover pimping episode of the Brothers of Discussion. We're going to talk everything from Cena and Undertaker's proposed Wrestlemania opponents. Visit another week of the Wednesday Night Wars. That and much, much more. Matt, as we move through February, you know, I think we're still spicy, but it's a February spice. Matt, hot tag, what's a good February spice?
Well, I feel like there's like a lot of heart candies that have cinnamon in it, so I think cinnamon still
like
works.
A hot cinnamony spicy week of pro wrestling. Matt, you got a job. Sounds like it's going really well. You got a baby. Got a podcast. You got to do memes. You are a man of many trades. How are you? How are you holding up? Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm doing good after this week of pro wrestling, and there's good stuff on the horizon. So I've got a vacation coming up in a couple weeks. That's going to be nice. Actually, you and I need to figure out what our schedule is going to look like for that. Just some fun stuff. But anyway, if you want to check out all the fun stuff we've made in the past, you want to go. By the way. Oh, you're doing good?
In case you were going to ask later.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Go to bodpodcast.com and brothersofdiscussion.com. Find us on Twitter at bodpodcast. Find our Facebook discussion group, which is about to hit 400, Mike. 400 folks. Join in the group. Real human beings. It's pretty fun to have real humans in the discussion group.
How many do we have on Twitter?
What do we have? Like 32? 3,200? Something like that?
I think 34.
I don't know. 34? No way. If you're wrong, this is going to sound terrible. 31! 3,144! Woo! Mike is way off.
We must have had a lot of drop-offs this morning. I don't know what happened.
We got to get those numbers up. Once you retweet all the Nyla Rose stuff, then people start to dig their heels in. So I think all of the major, Twitter profiles took a hit today for supporting Nyla Rose and her amazing accomplishment. It's hilarious that this is unprecedented and nobody can appreciate that fact. But anyway, for those little ditties and much more, you can find us again, bodpodcast.com, at bodpodcast on Twitter. Find the Instagram at brothers_of_discussion for all of those wonderful memes. Mike, I've started posting our episodes on IGTV.
Wow.
If anybody's interested, I post them on YouTube. So we really are. You can't miss us. And of course, our new buddy, Anchor.fm, which you heard the wonderful ad to start the program. We hope that everybody's enjoying how much easier it is to find the Brothers of Discussion thanks to Anchor.fm. And shoot, let's jump into why you're actually listening to us. Let's talk some wrestling.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, Mike, I'll jump in because I don't know.
Go ahead.
Because I wrote this one down. I thought it was important. John Cena returning on SmackDown tomorrow. Mike, what? Hot tag. What are the chances that this is just a howdy do, or is John actually going to wrestle?
I think
at WrestleMania.
I think he's declaring himself for the 2021 Royal Rumble. No, he's
tickets on sale now.
Yeah. Get your bundles, and you can watch Worlds Collide. Can't wait. So, yeah, he's got to be coming on to start pimping WrestleMania. This is right about when the legends start coming out of the woodworks to cash that nice WrestleMania paycheck.
Yeah.
Matt, let me hot tag you back. I've seen some rumors. They made a lot of sense, and they underwhelmed quite a bit. Matt, who is Cena? This is not a dream scenario, Matt. Who is Cena likely going to lock horns with at the showcase of the Immortals?
Do you have someone in mind?
I have seen a very believable rumor.
All right. Well, I don't know, because Randy and Edge aren't getting shit out of the way early, right? So Randy and Edge are definitely fighting at WrestleMania.
Right.
Okay. All right, so your rumor, I don't know, did you see Undertaker and Cena? Because I saw that rumor a couple weeks ago.
No, I kind of liked what they did last year. I didn't mind that.
Oh, God. Jesus. Yeah. I totally forgot they even fought. I can't believe I saw that as a rumor.
It was barely a match. That's I'll let it slide.
Or was that 2 years ago?
My God, was it 2? Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
So, Matt, who is it?
I don't know. You tell me. You've seen the rumors. Go ahead.
So the story is they kind of hung out last year. Now we got our timeline together. Might be Elias. Like, they might have a payoff because there's some people being mean to Elias. I think it was last I checked, it was Sami Zayn and Nakamura. So they think there might be Thugonomics and Elias playing guitar versus Sammy and Shin. Does that move the needle for you, man? Is this the best use of Cena at this point?
It might be kind of fun for Elias. I mean, isn't that the thing though? Didn't he take out Elias at last WrestleMania then, as the Doctor of Thugonomics? So then,
yeah. I just if he's gonna come to Friday, are we gonna be able to see the Fiend come in and crash John Cena? Is that asking too much?
Yeah, I think so, because the Fiend isn't man, this really died because you had an idea in mind and I couldn't process a thought. No, it probably is asking too much because the Fiend is going to be focused on Goldberg. I don't think they want to distract him from what's going on there. All right, so let me jump in. I guess I did think that Cena was going to come back and start to reignite something. I don't think I don't know.
You know what? We don't need Cena, but it's kind of like this past Super Bowl. It's great that we had new blood in there, but I kind of missed seeing the Patriots. I hate the Patriots, but it just gives me a more obvious rooting interest, boo, the Patriots. So I'm rooting for the other team, and the Patriots have Tom Brady, so they're naturally the favorite. So you kind of get that underdog feel. So I feel like a WrestleMania without Cena is kind of like a Super Bowl without the Patriots. I'm not, Cena's not my favorite, but if he's out there, I'm going to be rooting harder for the person he's fighting against. So it makes an obvious cheer, boo factor. So I would be sad if he wasn't at WrestleMania. I like Cena.
I respect that. I guess that's kind of how we all got super excited when he came out as Dr. Thugonomics last year. That was pretty neat. Let's see. I gotta like kind of reset here because
recalibrate.
I'm still trying to figure out who would actually make sense for John right now because I feel like we do have some great setups already. It even kind of looks like the way they're setting up and we'll talk about Elimination Chamber in a minute. It even kind of looks like, Shin's going to be busy. Shin with Braun. I wanted to talk about the other newer rumor for Undertaker was that he wasn't going to be doing, I guess, any rematch bouts. But he was going to be going up against AJ Styles. So now that one's out of the way. So then you'd get to give AJ Styles an opportunity to get back at Cena. I don't know. I don't think The Fiend is going to be touching John at WrestleMania. I think we're going to get The Fiend and Roman. So then, of course, Roman's winning the Elimination Chamber we'll talk about in a minute. I'm really crossing off all of our discussion topics. This is really a big old fart, a big flat fart, Mike, this discussion topic. I'll still say I think there's something to be set up, but I don't think we know enough yet to figure that out, to figure out who John's going to be going up against. I know we still don't have an idea of what Daniel Bryan's going to do. We don't have the Miz set up yet, and Daniel looks like he's turning into a new Daniel. I don't know. Does anybody really want to listen to me?
Let's do this instead of run through fantasy
the
book
entire
the whole roster. Look at it this way: like Rey Mysterio is. I couldn't book him better in my wildest fantasies, where he's just helping to get over the entire Latino division. Whether it's Andrade, Angel Cruz, he's helping Humberto get over. And, he doesn't really need a belt. He's just there, and the match is elevated because he's a part of it. And he's such a incredible physical specimen who's still doing this, almost 50 years old, smallest man, to be the WWE champion. It's really great. Randy Orton, in the same token, they moved him away from the championships. As far as winning, he helped prop up Kofi. Now it looks like he's going to help give Edge the goodbye that he always deserved. That's great. Matt, so in the same token, if you look at Cena, what would be the best way to utilize such an unbelievable asset? Like, who could really stand to benefit, to fight Cena at WrestleMania and then, maybe win?
Well, then I start running through, the NXT roster and let's start throwing in some Adam Coles, some Velveteen Dreams. Then I start talking about my fandom and I want Roddy Strong to take him out. I don't know. Do you have anybody else in mind besides those guys?
Baron Corbin.
Oh, boy.
He already retired Kurt Angle. Let's let him retire Cena at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I don't know, because there isn't. You know why this is a hard game is because it feels like WWE is doing a Batista, giving us what we want. Like, I'm happy with where Brock's at. I'm happy, positively and negatively. Then I'm happy where McIntyre's at. I'm happy where Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are at. I'm happy where Roman Reigns is at. I'm happy where The Fiend is at. I'm happy where Daniel Bryan is at. I'm happy with AJ. Like, there's nobody where I'm like, God, when is he going to get a chance? It just feels like everybody's kind of at this equilibrium where I'm pretty pumped across the board positively for WWE. So there isn't like that, just that standout, sore thumb who's just not getting a shot. The closest I'd say is like Ricochet or Aleister Black. Because neither of them still have, had a feud to really sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel that Cena would be the best use for either of them. I think Cena's best use would probably be a heel. Sort of that Baron Corbin answer was a little tongue-in-cheek. if he ends up being the guy who retires Kurt Angle and John Cena, John kind of following in the wake. That was his first match was against Kurt Angle, and maybe he gets his last match against the guy who retired Kurt Angle. It'd be kind of a cool little story. But I think that's probably the best use of him is to prop up a heel.
I like it. I mean, again, I still think we got to figure out what's going on after Elimination Chamber, and then we'll kind of know where to put some of these pieces. But
we put a lot of time into this segment. It's Cena. It's WrestleMania. Matt, let's move on to not the past. Let's go to the future. Matt, we got a brand new AEW Women's Champion.
And as JR put it last night, the new King of the Mountain. Fucking old man sack of shit. You know what? How many times do we have to see on WrestleNews.com? JR apologizes, or JR explains himself, or JR just admits he's too old for this shit. That to me, that should be the final straw, right? I know I'm not saying he meant it, but isn't that kind of where we're at? All right.
Yeah.
Again, he can't get the wrestlers' names right, and now we have this moment. Not that I want to spend the whole segment talking about this, but now we have another moment that part of the story isn't just Nyla having this major accomplishment. Then we have to talk about JR being a fucking idiot again.
Did he call Jericho El Champion?
You know what? I had it muted most of the time because I am that guy. I can't stand it. I kind of just wait for... It was kind of funny because we're going to talk about Jeff Cobb showing up at AEW, and I was in a mad scramble to hear what was going on because I don't recognize him, right off the bat, and luckily they put his name in the Titantron. But... yeah, for that kind of stuff, I'm oh god, what the fuck's going on? But if I'm just watching Moxley in a match, I'm I can watch this happen. I can take random screenshots and make memes. It still works. But yeah, I did miss that. Seeing if JR could get his shit together for the easier ones. So I guess yeah. So here's how we define the problem with JR is he just can't work in
is
a.
It maybe the shame on the producers of that show that they're trusting Jim Ross, who still doesn't know half the roster's name, to handle our first trans women's champion.
And I think what I wanted to jump into, you've got these big moments, and you have to have your instincts, the impulse of your first word or the first thought has to be smart and thoughtful and useful. And it's just JR is just vomiting garbage in these moments. You have wrestlers showing up and he has no idea who they are. He's got to get out of the way when it comes to calling moves, and when they do give him the time to take over. And again, folks, I should probably hesitate or take a moment to acknowledge the fact that we haven't shit on JR in a while because Mike has been watching AEW, but I watched AEW this week, and that, yeah, goddamn. If you can't trust a guy who you're paying to talk. I think that's it. I think you gotta kind of just turn away.
Let me run this by you, Matt. You're a very casual AEW fan, I'll say. Who has a scary silver skull face? Is it Rey Fenix or Pentagon Jr.?
That is Pentagon Jr.
A very casual fan. Nailed it. JR still hasn't gotten it right.
I did hesitate, though. No, everybody could feel the sweat.
Oh, God. I'll say Phoenix is the one who usually initiates more of the Seattle, the no fear or something. I don't know. Fear death. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I always sound like Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah, this is a big triumph for Nyla. I'm sorry that Jim Ross kind of ruined it. Also, kind of surprised that they WCW this major accomplishment by giving it away for free when we have a pay-per-view right around the corner.
I want to say before I throw this out there, this was a great match and it was a great moment. But I do think part of this with this going on was that they just trashed the Brandy Rhodes storyline that was going on. And I think the best idea, or the next best idea, was to give the title to a heel, which I think you and I would always agree. And that was probably the direction they were going with Brandy Rhodes' faction. But you give the title to the heel, and you've just got a better chase, and the story's more interesting, and it kind of fits that formula of pro wrestling, which I think they were lacking in the women's division, where it was just Rio dominating. A baby face to end all baby faces is Rio. And to just have her dominate was not the most interesting thing in the world for a program that needs to go beyond the pro wrestling. And I think that's kind of where that came from. To let's just get this done. Let's figure out what we can do right now, and then we will process the rest of this later. Which any wrestling fan would know, especially a WWE fan, is that. These storylines do just kind of pop out of nowhere, and you gotta fly by the seat of your pants sometimes. So I'm trying to not blame wrestling programs anymore for doing that, because Mike, you've taken the side of it is difficult to write these shows, and I very much respect that. And I'd be a moron not to start to come around when you come up with good arguments. So I'm not ragging on AEW, but I do think that's where this is coming from.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I would have punted. I think that there's a different way to do this, especially with the Britt Baker angle. Like, it kind of smelled like she was going to be fighting for a belt, and now she's just kind of floundering all of a sudden, because I don't think you want to heel versus heel.
Right.
And I mean that Baker, that's what she does best, is be a heel, and Nyla's definitely going to be a heel, a monster heel at that. So it just means that one you get one positive, one negative out of this. The negative being, it looks like Baker is going to be not gunning for that championship anytime soon, unless they're doing a complete pull out the bongo drums, Looney Tunes style, and backing her up, if she's going to be a heel. But, Matt, what it might be is AEW finally, stretching out that division a little bit and not making everything about that belt. So now you kind of have, maybe some mid-card feuds with Baker, and then let Nyla kind of run through the gauntlet of women here as the champion. Matt, so that was the big news in AEW. Maybe right up there. Free agent signing, kind of, was Jeff Cobb. Thankfully, he put his name up on the Jumbotron, so we know who the heck this was. Fans of, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and PWG will also know who this guy is already. But to the casual fan, I'm glad there was a little help. I'm glad there was a disclaimer. But is he a very bright man? Did you come to that conclusion? Okay, if you want a minute to think about it, go ahead. If you want to answer immediately, go ahead.
I will say, folks, if you ever want to get the nitty gritty on a pro wrestler who's done his time in the indies or done his time with like New Japan, and you want to find out, what's the juiciest bit of information? You go to the comments section, and you take a look when Jeff Cobb posts him on an airplane, and he says, "Anything interesting happened in wrestling last night?" And all of the comments coming back to him about how is it up there in that airplane, getting to see the end of the world. Seeing the edge, because why? Jeff Cobb is a flat earther. Wow. And I do believe this was from the Chris Jericho podcast. Mike, Flat Earth. This is Cobb. Please, nobody think I'm making these comments. Jeff Cobb says, Flat Earthers make valid points. We were told from when we were kids, this is what it is. This is how it goes. You know what? I'm not going to read this whole thing. He goes on to talk about, I've never been in a rocket ship. I can't look down and see it. This is a square. This is a circle. This is in quotes. We don't know. And then he goes on at 5 minutes and 56 seconds into the show and says, I'm not the brightest person in the world. I'm sorry. I get a huge laugh, and I'm tickled by this because we also have Mr. AJ Styles, who is also a flat earther. Mike, well, what happens when you... when you globetrot as a pro wrestler, you may be in airplanes more than any other pro wrestler when you fight in New Japan in the United States. What is it about all that ocean travel that makes somebody think the Earth is flat? You call it
globetrotting. They call it circling the wagon because there's just no. I don't know what else you got to see. I thought Amelia Earhart conquered this in like the 1940s. I don't know how we're still so confused about this. We've already circumnavigated the globe. We can't make this a topic on the show.
You weren't in that plane. God, you don't know what happened.
I thought we had mathematics. I don't know.
Just picture a plate. She just went from the middle of the plate to the outer rim of it, and then went all the way around. And then just hit that same spot where she started and came back.
Is that it's taking a thing that you should do, but like misfiring it, because you should be skeptical of things, but not that. I mean, come on. You can fucking circle the globe whenever you want. You go do it right now. Oh. See if you crash into an ice wall. You're it's just not going to happen. We did it already. I don't know. There's something wrong with people like this. I'm concerned about AJ. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get more. So basically, what kind of stinks is we're gonna do our Wednesday Night Wars wrap up, and I'm giving away two of the biggest moments of that show. So I don't want to go too much into what happened, but I just love that I'm trying to do research on Jeff Cobb's career, and then this is the most, like, if you search Jeff Cobb on Google, it pre-fills Flat Earther. I had a lot of fun with this. So thank you very much, Jeff Cobb, for thinking the Earth is flat, to give me something to laugh about earlier today. But the moment was still fun, and what I think is even funnier is the move that he did to Jon Moxley, where I tweeted out, looked like me trying to lift my backpack when it was 500 pounds and I was 8 years old. Just the way you whip it around and still land on the ground. But I believe it was called touring the islands, which I guess is still possible if the Earth is flat. But I just like that element that he still has like a flying in an airplane where you can see the curvature of the Earth from a plane. And he's still... Anyway, all right, enough on Jeff Cobb, but hell of a move. He is a beast. He's another one of those short beasts, so he's like people are probably going to hate what I'm about to say, but he's like a rhino type, probably a more athletic rhino, but it's one of those. He also just looks really nice too, so like Brock Lesnar looks like a Neanderthal. Yeah. Jeff Cobb just looks like a nice guy. It's kind of a bummer for his character, but he's a strong MFer, and it'll be interesting to see like how this shakes out, which would be he's still a free agent. I guess he's not officially AEW talent. He's just working with AEW right now. He still has shows scheduled with, I believe, PWG. So, yeah. Somebody tweeted out last night that he will be doing potentially a match with a New Japan Pro Wrestling talent, which would be Jon Moxley, while he's still technically hired by Ring of Honor in an AEW ring. That wasn't a conclusion I drew myself. That was somebody else. I should have written down the Twitter account, but I thought that was kind of funny, but kind of spelling out what this situation looks like for him and his free agency.
I kind of like how some people described it. Wrestling used to be territories, and what you do is, you'd have your best guy, dominate your territory, and then what you would do is let him travel to other territories and kind of build up his name, and then he comes back and he's, a god. So then when your circus kind of travels to different spots, he's already got some notoriety, and people come out to see that particular guy. It's just kind of cool that it almost sounds like we're doing territories again, because that's what Jeff Cobb. It's almost exactly what you described. He's kind of got his hand in all these different jars, and ultimately, it would behoove him to not be a part of the AEW crowd, because guess what, buddy? You get to be on TNT every week. So, if you want to be on Ring of Honor and be on Fox Sports Net at midnight, be my guest. If you want to be on Wednesdays at 8 p.m., on a major network, I would probably opt for that. So I think he's just cleaning up, giving a few less rubs to the other companies. Then he'll be a mainstay at AEW. That's best for his business.
Especially being thrown right into the inner circle too. That's huge. All right, Valentine's Day memories, Mike. That's your topic. What's going on here?
Well, it's such a great holiday. I love the idea of selling greeting cards. But speaking of red, Matt, it's Shayna Baszler week, because she initiated herself into the main roster. Matt, did she pull out a steel chair to Becky Lynch? Did she
throw the old concerto down?
Oh, that's always a good option. Did she, throw somebody into some steel stairs? Oh, that's smarts. No, man, she took a chunk out of Becky Lynch's neck and ate it.
Woo!
That was a shoot. That wasn't even kayfabe. She ate it. No, it was. Matt, this is Shayna's initiation into Monday Night Raw. Her initiation into the main event card. I loved it. When she came out, I'm so glad that they did something just evil, reprehensible, because she's getting NXT chance, and that's fine. But I don't need more, back padding and shoulder rubbing and hey, we're just gonna throw a good old contest because I'm from NXT and you're from Raw and I'm coming up for your crown. This was just like an evil monster. I've talked before about that mouth guard when she wears it and she screams in the ring on TV. It looks like a black hole from Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. It looks terrifying. I don't want to be anywhere near her mouth. And now we learned that I was right all along. You see, this is what happens when you get near that mouth. You end up with a bloody neck. This angle definitely separates her from the usual intros to the main roster, where you just kind of show up. I think this was great at just immediately giving her booze. I'm done. Matt, your thoughts?
I thought it was fantastic the way they booked it, because I thought we were just getting a great match. And think about, we keep talking about setting these things up and giving them time to develop. We had a promo last week that set up the Asuka match. I thought that what this was leading into was maybe like a draw. Kairi Sane was going to get involved, and this was going to go on until WrestleMania, and we were going to see Becky versus Asuka, which I would have been a major fan of. I would have been to the moon to find out that we were going to get 3 months of Becky Lynch versus Asuka. But that was fantastic to book it that way, because are you really watching this and going, I mean, putting together two of the best ladies on the roster. Are you really thinking like, oh, this needs some juice at the end of it? No, it was booked perfectly to really throw you off the scent. I thought there could be people out there that are like, well, I knew she was gonna be there because she was tweeting in the same city. And
I saw her IP address, so no surprises here. # unimpressed.
But I think that was key. I think that was key, was giving this the Asuka thing, make it look like this could go on as a longer feud. We always have Kairi Sane in the background. You give it a couple weeks of promos to set it up. All of this worked out so that when Shayna showed up, you had there wasn't a thought in your mind. Like if it was anybody but Asuka, I think you'd be thinking it's going in a different direction, or maybe somebody's going to interfere at the end. But knowing that it was just kind of like, all right, now these two like just want to go at it between Becky and Asuka.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like we would just get one of those lengthy feuds. Maybe, like we saw Sheamus and Cesaro go 7 matches a few years ago. Not that I was expecting them to become a faction or a tag team by the end of it, but just something. Yeah, it's just something I think works in pro wrestling. So that's where my head was at, and I was excited to see the end for that reason. But
well, you know what? I just thought of too is we started the show talking about Cena and how you use him to prop up other assets. If you want to get Shayna Baszler over as a monster heel, you can't have her fight Charlotte because people are going to root for her. You can't have her fight, Bayley because she's a heel now. You can't have her fight Sasha because who knows where the hell she is. I don't want her to take down Asuka, who's also kind of heelish, right? So if you want to get her over as the super monster, you put her against the biggest baby face in the company. So they're really doing her a massive favor, and I think they're recognizing, by making this move, whoa, we can really make like a huge star killer, like a female Brock Lesnar, where Ronda was an incredible athlete, but Shayna is going to be our Brock. So I think her introduction to the roster like this, it really kind of opened my eyes to be like, wow, I guess they really are, putting a lot of chips in for Shayna to give her this kind of rub.
Yeah, and I like your point actually with it has to be Becky, because I thought the triple threat at Survivor Series didn't go as planned. It was super clumsy from start to finish. That was not a great match, and I think this is like what Shayna's gonna need to get built back up. I don't think she fell like completely off the mountain or anything like that. I think she's still pretty high, pretty close to the top, and they kept her off TV long enough where I think a lot of people aren't even thinking about Survivor Series like I am. But this would be perfect for her. And we always talk about building up rosters with any of the shows that we're watching. And I think we're going to go over the NXT Takeover card. And I think there's a lot of decisions there that are going to go into making sure that roster stays strong.
Yeah.
But that's where you go to the main event. And you and I were talking before the show even started that a lot of folks now are where Raw was just a joke week after week. And you can take this with a grain of salt, but there's actually folks tweeting out now, like, on a weekly basis, that Raw is the best show, best pro wrestling show on TV. Now, you don't have to agree with that, but where it used to always be, how much did you hate Raw? And then you'd give, you'd vote, 1 thumbs down or 6 thumbs down. Now it's at least half of the Twitter posts are, God damn, Raw is fucking great again.
Yep.
And again, you don't have to agree with that, but it's happening. And it's not just marks. It's the folks that we follow, the folks that you follow as influencers. And I'm sitting here telling you right now that I've been a fan of Monday Night Raw ever since, I don't know. Mike, what was the big change? Could it possibly have been the injection
of Paul Heyman,
of the sexy Scotsman,
Randy?
Randy! Oh, this is a good time as any is to head over to our Anchor.fm page so that you can turn in your
best Scottish
impression
brogue
of Drew McIntyre. We have not gotten any submissions yet, or else we'd be playing them today. But what we want to do is give out some Drew McIntyre t-shirts before Wrestlemania, and the only way that you can enter is if you submit your Drew McIntyre impression. Obviously, we're just saying Randy, but if you go longer, if you could really prove yourself as the Drew McIntyre impressionist, that could be you going home with a McIntyre t-shirt.
What? Maybe you're not good at voices. Maybe you just want to really dye your hair black, and to really pull off the Drew McIntyre look, have some of the dye still on your face. That is not a naturally black beard. That is a lot of dye, and I think he kind of fills in some of the gaps with some of that black paint. But,
all right.
Anyway,
shots fired. Shots have been fired.
Randy.
Oh my God.
It's a real beard, Randy.
I can't do it anymore. We gotta make up some time here, Matt. Just a quick note here. Matt Hardy, my God, he's on TV again. Takes a concerto from Randy. Randy, you evil son of a bitch. Matt, does this move your needle? Hardy going to AEW, being a bigger fish in a smaller pond. Ooh.
I think that's true that he is moving. He gave the goodbye, and then it was the Dark Order that tweeted out later, you say goodbye and we say hello. And then I think even JR tweeted, hopefully I see you soon, to a comment to what Matt Hardy was saying on social media. So, I mean, this is going in all different directions, but I think that would be a good move because Matt Hardy wants it. He seems excited. He's been doing the free the delete on Instagram and Twitter. Can you really, like it's always one of those things where maybe that's the only choice certain pro wrestlers have is to like stick with the WWE. But you see Matt Hardy, he can do whatever he wants. He's at that point in his career, and he really wants this. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited that he's gonna get to go out and possibly be Broken Matt Hardy again, but I'd rather just see something completely new from Matt, where he's just like, shit, I've done the Broken Matt Hardy. I'm not about just people pleasing. I'm about being an artist as a pro wrestler. That's where my excitement is to see if he comes up with something new. If this is just to do a retread of Broken Matt Hardy, I'm not going to hate it. But it won't be as fun as if we get a whole new thing. I
think before, when he was doing it on TNA, it was the best thing on that show because, it was TNA. He came to WWE, and I just feel like it's like he's trying to do Broken Matt Hardy on Disney Plus, when really he needs to take it somewhere where it's, like Studio A24, who has a wide leash, and they'll greenlight and fund and produce any crazy shit that comes out of your brain. Yeah. So if he needs a podium for that, I think AEW would be perfect. Supposedly they give you creative freedom. He can, be able to maybe expand on the Broken Matt Hardy gimmick, and then he'll have a place to showcase it on TNT every Wednesday. I think that would be a perfect marriage. He doesn't even need to be remotely close to any silly championship belts. I think it would just be a great thing to kind of mix it up a little bit. And you can tell AEW kind of has an interest in that stuff with the God, you just named the faction. The one who just tweeted at him.
The Dark Order.
Yeah, the Dark Order. The way they're promoting Neville with his kind of dark, twisted promos. I think they're clamoring for somebody like Matt Hardy. I think that's a perfect home for him right now. Matt, let's knock out two quick WWE things. We got to move into this NXT Takeover card, and we still got to play the Wednesday Night Wars. Matt, just a couple things here for Mania, potentially AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, and then at the Super Showdown, Goldberg and The Fiend. I'm going to ask you a question that I think immediately would have an easy answer, but on second thought might be a little tougher. What's going to be the better match out of these two? Potentially, AJ versus Undertaker or Goldberg versus The Fiend?
Probably AJ versus The Undertaker.
See, I think that's the
that's like a match answer.
Because AJ's going to carry that match. I just think with Goldberg and The Fiend, potentially, if all they're going to do is be violent, I think that could be a little bit longer match where The Undertaker, I don't even know what he's got left at this point.
Well, it's a waste of The Fiend, and what this idea has been behind facing The Fiend is because people start to change after they face him. Like, The Miz has gotten back into his heel tendencies. Daniel Bryan is just absolutely ruthless and kicking the shit out of Heath Slater. And, of course, Seth Rollins. Seth is now the Monday Night Messiah. So, what do you do? Like, then that just goes out the window because Goldberg's only got a limited time contract. You know what? It's just kind of like, okay, great. So does that mean just Goldberg's dead now? Is that the change to his character? Because I don't need to see him again. I didn't need to see him talk about fighting the Fiend, and I definitely don't want to see him beat the Fiend. For those of you that are out there, Amy, I'm talking to you, that are sick of the Fiend. No, cut it out. Don't let the WWE win. The Fiend is a great character. Bray Wyatt is still selling the shit out of that with he was so cute in his suit and tie on his promo with Goldberg. That was adorable. But it's all going to be Bray Wyatt building this up, and then moving forward into the match. You know what? It's been said. You said it. I think the excitement would be there for the first time ever to see AJ and The Undertaker, and AJ's going to carry the shit out of that match, and he's going to make The Undertaker look like, it'll be like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker again. I mean, if you go back and watch even those Triple H matches, like, they told a great dramatic story, and there was a lot of those elements that I've been gushing about, like New Japan, since January 1st or 2nd or whatever, where it looked like an anime fight. I mean, that if you go back and watch Undertaker and Triple H, there's a lot of that, where they're just this last breath of, whatever they can do to muster up one more move, and that's what they do to finish each other off. That's great, but, like, it still took a major step down from what it was 2 years before, and I guess 2 consecutive years is what I mean to say, which was Michaels and The Undertaker. Yeah. So the point I'm making is I think a lot of that was still Shawn Michaels, because you didn't really see that great of a performance after those matches from The Undertaker. It was just a lot of nostalgia that got us through those matches. And I think getting AJ back in there, or getting AJ on a card against The Undertaker, I don't want to say back in there because this would be their first time, but I think that brings back that amazing feel and getting to see The Undertaker of old, because it's been about the guy that can sell, or the athletic opponent. So yeah, if there's anything for a guy that deserves title shots nonstop, and he doesn't have a title shot, but he can make Undertaker great again.
Oh my God.
I say go for AJ Styles.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on the match. Like, for that caveat to be there, it depends on the match type. That's kind of a deal breaker. But AJ versus, you or I would probably be a good match in some capacity. I don't know if we'd really sell for our limp-armed punches, but, by God, if anybody could, it'd be him.
I'd love to be in a triple threat with AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler. That would be... I'd come out of that, and people would be going, one day Matt should get a shot at the WWE champ. He needs his shot. He needs his time. All right.
Let's do this. Mike, we got two big things left. We got to cover this NXT card, but let's do the Wednesday Night Wars. We'll wrap it up with NXT. That's the last thing going into the weekend. Whew. I had NXT this week. Matt, you took AEW. I'm going to do the number 3 moment here for NXT. Matt, it was NXT's attempt at comedy because, my God, Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne shared a tandem swan paddle boat, riding their way into TakeOver this weekend. It wasn't the funniest thing ever because Matt Riddle's not a good enough actor, but they got some really great reaction shots out of Pete Dunne just frowning at Riddle's antics because the gimmick was the whole thing was Riddle's idea, and then they ended up sneaking onto Triple H's private jet. They hid in the underbelly where the luggage goes, and all Pete Dunne had to do was have a scowl of disgust, and he hit a home run with that because that's his one Keanu Reeves expression, and he does it really well. So that was my third favorite NXT moment. Matt, what was number 3 from All Elite Wrestling?
MJF and Jungle Boy was the shit. I think I could have picked Kenny Omega and Hangman against SCU, but I love the antics that MJF gets into, and just kind of like still getting quite a few licks in was Jungle Boy. And if MJF, wasn't so he's doing the heel thing where he's not focused on the match. So Jungle Boy is focused and he wants to win this thing. That's all he cares about. But we don't get to see MJF enough. We don't get to see him in matches. Mike, I think I realized that he's shorter than Jungle Boy in this match, which is incredible.
Awesome. I love it.
When they went brow to brow, Jungle Boy, maybe it's his hair, but it was just he's a smidge taller than MJF, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, going in, there's no way Jungle Boy was going to win. So what you wanted to see was like that performance of his that looked like he could steal one. But then MJF really just, started toying with him. I love seeing his interactions with the crowd where he just puts his hand to his ear, and it's the same reaction that Hulk Hogan used to get just in cheers, but MJF gets it in boos. And this guy who is one of the best heels in the business right now is doing it so perfectly that he's getting the boos like he's supposed to. He still gets cheers, but it's just amazing to watch. We don't get this anymore. A heel that gets hated, even though he's doing an amazing job. I can't applaud it enough, and I need more. It's hilarious to me that he's the guy that they've kept locked up, nope, you don't get to see him. You have to wait. Because they knew what they had. Yeah. They knew what they had in MJF. But yeah, Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2, I think I'm going to surprise you a little bit. It was Candice LeRae. She, not quite.
What the
That's the reaction I wanted. I just wanted to give you a popski over there.
No, I got you.
She kind of had her back, not quite to that, obviously not to that level, when Becky Lynch took a Nia Jax punch to the face, and she looked like, Stone Cold against Bret Hart at WrestleMania. But Candice ate a kick from my boo, Dakota Kai, who has not been able to win a goddamn match since she came back from injury. It was like the opposite of the Roman Reigns treatment after he was sick. And so LeRae, eats this kick, and the ref's pulling the gloves on. That's the whole rigmarole where you gotta, act like you're a World War II, in the trenches, cleaning up dead bodies. That's what they have the refs acting like. And LeRae they were trying to get her to end the match. And she was bleeding. So it was a little bit, it was a shoot. It wasn't like it was, like a scripted, Roman Reigns just got beat up by the European Alliance. They'll never re-enter the Rumble now. It was like, Candice, we're going to cut this one short. But she insisted on fighting. She insisted on finishing the match. And I think it's doubly admirable, not just because she kept fighting with a broken face, but because she was booked to lose. So she made sure to still get that roll-up loss and let Dakota Kai finally get off the schneid.
Nice.
It was an important sacrifice for Candice, and definitely made her look like a badass motherfucker. So I was really happy. Matt, you're number 2 for All Elite Wrestling.
Well, I'm going to come back to... I get to do this quick because we already talked about Jeff Cobb coming in, but... overall, the whole match, Santana and Moxley was great, and Moxley always having behind his back or, waiting on the sidelines as the rest of the inner circle, And Mike, I tell you, the big fight feel just comes when Jericho is out there in AEW. If you were Jericho and you had the choice between losing to Goldberg or getting jobbed out to Fandango or being this god-like hero in AEW, why would you choose anything else? But just having him, he's got his box seats again. He's drinking the bubbly, showing off the title. And God, that AEW men's title is beautiful. They've really defined which division they care about. Anyway, Inner Circle coming out, beating the shit out of Moxley. And then Jeff Cobb doing his tour around the islands, Power Slam, which is just, it was fucking great. Just whipping cool. Moxley in one direction and then throwing him around, over. I can't even describe it well. It's what Randy Orton does, but when he pulls a guy off the ropes, but he goes in both directions, so it's even more impressive than the crisp, clean way that Randy does it. I'm all for that, and I think Moxley, when he wins this title, which I think he will, I think whatever stadium they're in for that match, the roof is going to come unglued because the fans are just so behind Moxley right now and they want to see the Inner Circle go down so bad. That would be the only thing holding back like losing that title is maybe Moxley he's already big enough that he doesn't need it. And the Inner Circle is so huge right now. How much momentum do they lose if they lose the title?
Yeah.
Mike, you're number one.
Well, real quick with Cobb, you said it's the floating island.
The tour of the islands?
Oh, tour of the islands. No,
that's what Excalibur said.
It's just it's one of those moves that it just visually looks really cool, and the cooler a move looks, that in your head makes it hurt more. It kind of reminds me of the Deep Six from Baron Corbin, which is just one of my favorite. I don't know how it would hurt more for you to go whee up on his shoulders, but it looks devastating when it drops. So just a cool move there for Cobb. My number one moment. I gotta say, the way that they booked this show, it was really weird. Like, it didn't feel like a go-home show before a pay-per-view, because it was really about like 4 matches over 2 hours. But the best match, because they featured a lot of those guys. Remember that TV tournament? Guys who haven't been on TV before tournament? With Angel Garza, Bronson Reed was featured, and Cameron Grimes. And the best match of the night was Cameron Grimes versus Gargano. Grimes is elevated just by being in the ring with Gargano and not losing in 2 minutes. That's an accomplishment in itself. Gargano is basically the AJ Styles of NXT. Like, he's that excellent of a wrestler. Whether it's a pay-per-view, if it's a takeover event, if he's in the Royal Rumble for 60 seconds, or like in this match, they're asking him to do 15, 20 minutes. We're going to throw a commercial in there. Gargano just always goes 110%. So if you limited yourself, and we know there's so much damn wrestling every week, if you're going to limit yourself to one 20-minute match, it's this one. Both these guys were killing it. Grimes is the young up-and-comer who's got to prove himself against Johnny, and he certainly was up to the task, but Gargano is the poster boy, and he ended up being triumphant. Matt, your number one moment for AEW.
Well, talk about matches that I think people would enjoy watching. The Nyla Rose and Rio match was fantastic. I went in thinking, all right, Rio's winning this again. They're just filling out the card because we keep seeing championship matches on NXT and AEW to draw in more viewers. The false finishes were fantastic, and a couple of times I think Nyla Rose could have pulled it out earlier with the power bombs that she's throwing around, and she really gets to lady handle. I was going to say manhandle, lady handle Rio. She really has all the strength in the world. She can really toss around Rio, no problem. Obviously Rio is just a rag doll out there, so that in itself was great, and it was fun. It was kind of like the Lesnar versus Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan. She had no business being in there, and even seeing her win against Nyla Rose again, seeing her get close was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I really enjoyed that match, and for a company that really has, they didn't prepare well, I think, to start. I think they rushed the women's division a little too much and didn't give it enough time. I think this is where we have to sit back and go, okay, this was a good decision. This is where we can build a better story and a better division with a Nyla Rose victory. Have a heel hold that damn title. But goddamn, Mike, just like I said when they first introduced it, and I used Nyla and Awesome Kong as examples, it looks fucking ridiculous in her hands. It is the tiniest little tic-tac title I've ever seen, and it's such I hope that part of Nyla Rose winning it is that she's going to already introduce a new title, because honestly, that is the most embarrassing thing still that AEW does, and they haven't even acknowledged it or said they're doing anything wrong, and it just blows my mind. I hope that this is their opportunity for Nyla to come out and go, I'm not playing with this dinky piece of garbage. This is my title. And she comes out with almost an exact replica of the AEW championship. And shit, if Tessa Blanchard, fuck her for being racist, if she's going to be the TNA or the Impact champion, and we're going to have Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the NXT championship, just end it. Just call it the AEW championship. Get ahead of WWE. Let's all we'll move forward. This will be the idea going forward. You'll let all the snowflakes that can't handle it. Eventually the ground is going to warm up and the snow melts. So I think that's the best way to put it. So they'll be angry. Yeah. But Mike, wait, you already did your number one, so let's go to Takeover. Mike, your number 0.
My number 0. That would be you for forgetting that I already did my number 1. So, all right, we got to cover Takeover, Matt. This is, I think it's going to be one of those typical takeovers where I have no idea what match of the night is going to be. I'm going to sprint through the card, and I want you to try and pick one off the hip.
Pick match of the night? I got it.
Here we go.
Done.
Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox.
Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Boom.
I wasn't done. Baszler, Gargano, Lee, Dijakovic, Bruiserweights, Undisputed, Bianca, Rhea, Ciampa, Cole, go!
Dijakovic, Keith Lee. That is going to be match of the night. I guarantee it. I guarantee we will be watching that match till we're dead.
Oh that is my
for the next
feud.
80 years, Mike.
That's my favorite feud.
Wait, oh my God, Mike, we're not going to live 80 years.
Isn't that weird?
We're not going to be 110. For the next 70 years. Probably
for the next 69
50
years.
Man, that was a sad realization. Man, we're not going to make it 80 more years.
I'm going to try and really cherish this Saturday because I'm going to be dead soon.
Holy fuck.
Is it Sunday, actually?
Actually, I have no idea. I tried to look it up, and you could probably hear me clicking and typing away, but I still didn't find it.
Yeah, it's Sunday. It's the 16th.
Ew!
God damn it. I used to love them there on Saturdays.
I'm going to be... That's... My wife and I, we're doing Valentine's Day on Sunday.
No!
I know, I'm going to miss it.
Oh, man. I mean, let's... Keith Lee and Dijakovic, these two are destined to fight each other forever. This is... There's...
I'm doing the Keith Lee.
Yeah, I got you. I'm so excited for the other matches, but this is it.
These guys know each other like the back of their hands. This is going to be the perfect match. Now they have a title connected to it, and I'm going to be sitting there like the doofus I am, rooting for Dijakovic, and Keith Lee's gonna pull it out because there's no reason. The only thing I would say, let's go back to having the 7-match series. How fucking great would that for the NXT champion or the North American Championship? Have Keith Lee and Dijakovic go back and forth all year.
Just keep losing it to each other.
Yes. Wouldn't that be amazing?
For us.
Well, yeah.
Selfishly. Matt, can I say...
Selfishly, amazing.
Here's a hot take for you. I'm more excited for this than I am Ciampa and Adam Cole.
Yeah, me too. I think it's like going back to the first time we saw Dijakovic, and then he shared our blog and podcast. This guy, yeah, he's one of the good ones, you know? Like
This is our Big E match of the night, because you want to come to me about work rate? No. I want to see two big guys slapping meat. That's what I want to see.
But that's the thing. These two guys are huge, and they do have a good work rate. They do fly around the ring. They're gonna slap meat, and they're gonna do everything else. They're like the hybrid pro wrestler. I love like trying to define what they are, because they are not big guys. They can do the power moves that AJ Styles can't do. They are the hybrid future of pro wrestling, and they're both WWE talent, and we get to watch them on NXT Takeover this weekend. If you can't appreciate that, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is the future of pro wrestling. It's not super kicks.
It's also the past of pro wrestling.
It's not
because
it's what?
It's also the past, because what we've always loved is watching two big sweaty guys slapping meat, and that's what this is going to be.
I was gonna say super kicks is not the future. Spears are not the future. Mike, the future it's Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and you're gonna hate me, but it's Drew. All right, that was bad. I'm not gonna win. I'm not winning my own T-shirt.
So that is Matt. Let me ask you one more tough question here. Where would you book this match on the card?
I mean, Mike, I would be fired so fast if I was in charge of producing these shows, because that would be my main event. But obviously, this is they gotta. I think Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair has the potential to close out the night, especially with Charlotte probably coming in, and potential for a triple threat at WrestleMania. So I'm gonna throw that in there. That's our main event. So we've got. Did you just shit your pants again? Oh my god. But we've got our tag championships, which I think normally leads off the card, but I will not be surprised if it's Keith Lee and Dijakovic.
I think that would be a bad idea, because I think it's going to be so great. Like, then you're just emotionally just going to be on the valleys instead of like you're going to just go from the peak to the valley. I would start with Broserweights, and then I would do Gargano. And then maybe Ripley, and then Keith Lee, Dijakovic. Then you do the palate cleanser with Dakota and Tegan, and then it'll be Adam Cole and Ciampa.
I gotta say that's where this takeover for me is like, 6 matches. Can we make it 5?
Yeah.
Can we do that on
that might
just
be,
NXT?
It might be like an opening show match, like Dakota and Tegan. But I gotta say,
I don't hate them, but that's where to me it's like, I don't want this to be 4 hours.
There's just much bigger stakes for everything else.
Right.
I gotta say,
we don't know Tegan Knox enough for us to go. She needs to get back at Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I know they're mad at each other. I know that. So I know that.
All right, you want to throw out just quick who you think's gonna win?
I know who I'd like to win.
Let's go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6.
I want Dakota. It'll probably be Tegan.
I think it's Dakota Kai.
Ooh.
5.
Can I just say that of all the matches, this is the one I'm the least excited about, and it's because I don't think I like Finn Balor as a wrestler.
Oh my god!
Like, I don't know if that's a little hot takey of me, but like, what do you think about Keith Lee and Dijakovic, just two big guys slapping meat? Like, there's going to be a lot of violence in that match. Same thing with UE and Broserweights. Same with Rhea Ripley and Bianca. They're going to be, throwing each other around. Tommaso and Adam, they're kings of vicious kicks and DDTs. Even Dakota with her big that big wind up kick where she runs around the edge of the ring and breaks your jaw while you're prone in the turnbuckles. And Tegan Knox has the shiniest wizard, but
this is the absolute worst way for you to run through these as quick as possible.
I'm just saying that, like, Finn Balor, I just feel like he's always, like, he looks like he's wrestling safe, and I feel like it just kind of dampers the illusion for me. So I always feel like I'm watching a scripted wrestling match instead of a fight. So I hope Gargano wins because I don't think I'm as big of a Balor fan as I thought I would be.
All right, I'm going Finn Balor. All right, NXT North American Championship, Mike.
You gotta let Keith Lee win. He can't lose his first defense, and they're having him go up against his best friend in the world. So there you go.
All right, I think Dominic is taking this. I think we're going a 7-match series here. Mike, NXT Tag Team Champions. Who you got? You got new ones? You got a hashtag and new?
Oof. I mean, we usually get one title changing hands. I think they're pulling the trigger on the Broserweights. I wouldn't do it, but it feels like that's what's in the tea leaves. I think the Broserweights win, but every time I watch an Undisputed Era match, I'm reminded, oh yeah, they're like the best tag team I've ever seen. You know what? I disagree with my own statement. My favorite version of Undisputed Era was Kyle and Roddy. And Fish, I'm sorry, you're no Roddy. Matt, I'm picking the Broserweights.
Mike, I'm going to Undisputed Era on this one. There's no way they're losing those titles to the Broserweights. Go, all right, NXT Women's Championship match.
It's actually pronounced NXT Championship
match. Oh, God,
match.
That's right. You're so right. Let me delete women's.
Fault. I actually plucked that from another source who forgot to edit it. There's no way that Rhea's going to lose.
Not my fault.
No, there's no way Rhea's going to lose her first real defense. It'll just be fun when Charlotte comes out, and then we can point at a WrestleMania sign or something.
Well, I think Charlotte's going to come out before this match is over, and we're going to do you know how we keep talking about they're actually setting things up in matches and in shows prior to them actually executing something? Yes. Rhea Ripley made such a huge point about it being, we are NXT. Bianca Belair is winning the title, Mike, because they need to legitimize the EST for her triple threat match at WrestleMania. Woo! Bianca Belair is taking out Rhea Ripley. Woo! Rhea doesn't need the title to get us excited. Bianca's going to take advantage of Rhea's trust of NXT counterparts, and she's going to take the title away. Mike, the other NXT championship. Go at it.
It's actually pronounced NXT Men's Championship match.
Oh, gotcha.
I booked the Broserweights to win, and I don't know. This might be the toughest one to call. Because I know they like having Adam Cole be the face of the franchise, but man, Ciampa was so good with Goldie. Put my chips down on Shenanigans. Adam Cole wins with Shenanigans. We get another match at WrestleMania.
Oh, man. All right, I'm going Tommaso Ciampa just to keep this going as I picked the opposite of what you picked. I was really hoping you were going to pick Ciampa, but I had to go out on a limb for Bianca. Let's go with a couple of news for the NXT Championship matches.
Wow.
All right. I do think there's a good shot that because they made such a stink about we are NXT, that Bianca's going to take advantage of that and fuck over Rhea. Chances are she will do that, and Rhea will just, kick out of the roll-up and then beat the shit out of Bianca. And that'll still fuel a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Bianca, I'm taking Ciampa, I'm taking, who was I taking? Undisputed Era, Dijakovic, Finn Balor, and Dakota Kai. That sounded bad, but...
What was that? Anyway, I'm pretty pumped, Matt. I think we're gonna try and do as much live memeing as we can for this show.
Hell yeah!
And really build the brand.
While I'm out to dinner with my wife for Valentine's Day on Sunday.
Honey.
I will.
Shh, honey.
I love getting in trouble.
Woo! Yeah, that's what wrestling's all about, Charlie Brown.
Yep.
Matt, are you ready to ride off into the sunset?
Let's ride off. Everybody go to @BOD Podcast on Twitter, brothers_of_discussion on Instagram to catch up with all the memes. Also, podcast available on IGTV and YouTube now. And find us on anchor.fm to get links to all the different places you can find our podcast. But Mike, we are on every single distribution source for podcasts. So thanks to Anchor.fm. But if you want to go win a Drew McIntyre t-shirt before WrestleMania, I got to make a graphic for this so people actually know what's happening. Go to our Anchor.fm, leave us your impression, and we're all going to have a good time and vote for whoever has the best Drew McIntyre impression, and you are taking home a Drew McIntyre t-shirt. So all of that, folks, can be found. Let's put some links on bodpodcast.com. I'll do that for you. That'll be the easiest way to do it. And then, let's ride off into the sunset. Mike, enjoy NXT. Everybody else, same thing. Have a good one.
Randy!